Digimon Adventure, the first and most iconic season of Digimon, a nostalgic fan favorite thanks to characters like Tai, Matt, Sora, ones we've seen grow and transform over the years following their original adventure, their big screen outing against Diaboromon, Digimon's second season where we saw them as upperclassmen, 2015's Tri where we saw them reimagined as modern anime high schoolers, even 2020's Last Evolution Kizuna where they returned to the big screen as 20-something-year-olds. And of course, who could forget their live-action adaptation that everyone remembers and everyone definitely knows about? Alright, not really. Don't get it twisted, the live-action Digimon adventure absolutely exists, but unless you are super deep into the modern Digimon fandom, you probably never heard about the topic of this video, Super Evolution Stage, Digimon Adventure Tri, The Adventure of August 1st. That's the live-action Digimon project from 2017. In 2015, Toei Animation kicked off Digimon Adventure Tri, an animated series of 6 films, or 26 episodes of TV, depending on how you watched it, that continued the story of the original Digidestined in their high school years. The 6 films were rolled out between 2015 and 2018, generally 5 or 6 months apart on average, and they were available internationally on Crunchyroll day and date. It was a cool time to be a fan of the original Digimon series, but even cooler if you lived in Japan, where right in the middle of the Tri era, a live-action version of Tri was created and made available in August 2017. Super Evolution Stage Digimon Adventure Tri, Adventure of August 1st, featured a live-action cast of human characters wearing the same outfits as the Tri movies, but otherwise follows a much different storyline. In Adventure of August 1st, Mei and Meikimon are not key to the story, Alphamon doesn't show up, Dark Genai is not a thing. Instead, it's this tight, intimate story about the original Chosen Children and their partner Digimon going on a camping trip on August 1st, commemorating the 6-year anniversary of the day they first went to the digital world and met their partners in episode 1 of Digimon Adventure, the 1999 series. Silly anime hair aside, translating the human kids to real life isn't all that challenging, but how on earth did they handle the digital monsters in live action? Was it CG, humans, and goofy mascot costumes? The answer is actually puppetry. Shockingly good and to scale puppets of Agumon, Gabumon, Piomon, and everyone else you remember were crafted for this project. The stage play was performed only 10 times between August 5th and 13th in Tokyo's Roppongi district and was a rather ambitious as well as unconventional show to exist on the stage. Writer and director of Super Evolution Stage Kenichi Tani wrote in a blog post translated by the Digilab, quote, "The nature of the content would make it seem to be impossible to translate into a stage format. It felt so impossible that at one point in time there was discussion about simply projecting animated versions of the Digimon companions onto a screen at the back of the stage, but Tani fought tooth and nail to make sure this didn't happen and that the Digimon companions would be real physical things on stage beside the actors." Tani wrote this in his blog, quote, "In the original anime, the children's heart's growth and the Digimon's evolution are tightly linked, and I was moved to tears many times. Digimon are tied to their partners with a bond so tight that even the words best friends are not enough to describe them. This meant that simply putting them on a screen would be insufficient, and they needed to be real things that you could touch, look at, and perceive as real. I insisted very strongly on this, and so we ended up making them to scale. That's not to say there weren't some digital screen elements, we'll get to those later, but the ambition to have the puppet versions of the Digimon also resulted in a conversation where Tani was briefly told that they may not be able to include all of the Digimon partners. Again, he fought to make sure no Digimon partner was left behind, at least not the base forms. Quote, "Each of the 8 Digimon has their own die-hard fans, so I insisted we can't cut anything at all. We have to have all of them appear." Though the 8 Digimon partners were represented on stage in puppet form, creating multiple evolutions for each of them was not going to be possible, so the story was composed with this in mind, and the writers landed on a scenario where only Metal Greymon, Metal Garurumon, and Omegamon/Omnimon were represented in physical form, though, to be fair, the stage play puppet versions for those 3 evolutions that were created were massive and seriously impressive works by the prop masters. According to the director, quote, "We referenced the stage versions of Warhorse and The Lion King, Japanese lion dances and Chinese dragon dances, and I think we were able to make a satisfyingly big end result. Of course, in this day and age, you could easily get away with doing it with just the video, but we wanted to challenge ourselves and try to do it live, because the whole point of the stage medium is to imagine it and make it real. So I pushed very hard to do it against all odds." So what was the story of this live-action stage play? We mentioned that despite sharing outfits and branding with Digimon Adventure Tri, Super Evolution Stage featured a different story about the cast having a camping trip reunion. In the 3-act play, their quiet camping trip reunion gets flipped upside down when Edamon, the weird Elvis monkey, if you grew up on the English dub, returns from the Dark Ocean, who in this live iteration is neither a puppet nor an animation projected onto the background, but instead is the one instance of a nightmare-inducing human in an Edamon costume. I hate how this looks, but I also have to admit that it's kind of genius, like the best way to do specifically Edamon in live action would be to have a human in the weird costume. So it's nightmare fuel, but props to them. Act 1 sees Izzy, Sora, and Mimi plan the camping trip that'll commemorate the 6-year anniversary of their first trip to the digital world. Kari and Joe work on convincing Tai, who's been in a weird funk lately and has been spending most of his time alone, while TK convinces his brother Matt to join as well. When weird things start happening at the campsite, like their clocks not accurately reading the time, they conclude that they've ended up in a digital area they're prevented from leaving. Edamon seems to be behind it and specifically wants revenge against Tai and Metal Greymon, since they're the ones who bested him back in the original series. It's a nice little bit of continuity. In Act 2, Edamon's minions hunt down the chosen children and try to get a fight out of Tai and Agumon, with Tai being unwilling to fight and caught in this weird behavior where he's obsessed with going back to the way things were back in the first season of Digimon. There's a little twist that the digital area the Digidestined are trapped in was not actually created by Edamon, but instead created by the chosen children themselves based on their desire to go back in time to 6 years ago when they were all kids. Izzy theorizes that time is acting so weird because they don't want August 1st to come to an end and are scared about time moving forward. Joe, however, being the only one in the group who was able to conceive of a future for himself, is the first to be able to pass through the digital area. When Izzy shares this info with the rest of the team, we get scenes where they each wrestle with why they are afraid of their futures and of growing up. Their Digimon help them through their emotional breakthroughs, and in Act 3, Tai and Metal Greymon take on King Edamon and a handful of nostalgic enemies like Devimon, the Dark Masters, and Venom Myotismon, who are all projected onto the back of the stage using animation footage. King Edamon taunts his opponent, telling them they'll literally be trapped in August 1st for the rest of time, then kind of becomes or channels Venom Myotismon Undead, who is actually a new Digimon design created specifically for this play and story, which is kind of neat. Matt and Metal Garurumon save Tai and Metal Greymon, evening the odds, and with their teamwork and a new willingness to move beyond August 1st, 1999, they form Omegamon. It's an incredibly impressive prop with electronic lights and sounds. We only get the bust of Omegamon on stage, so its head and a bit of the shoulders and chest, but the actors playing Matt and Tai stand on its gigantic shoulders, and honestly it kind of works. It looks rad as hell. At the end, they emerge from the digital prison that had them trapped in an August 1st time loop, overcoming their fears about the future, finding closure, and being able to put August 1st, 1999 behind them. There's some stuff right at the end about how Mako and her Digimon Makomon are still out there and need their help, tying it into the Tri anime and confirming those characters still exist in this story, which feels a bit obligatory and needless to me, but also probably enticed people who went to see the show but for some reason hadn't yet watched Tri to give that anime a chance. Like, to hear the full story, be sure to watch Digimon Adventure Tri. Mako tease aside though, it's a pretty strong self-contained story at roughly 2 hours that tackles the main themes of Tri and even Last Evolution Kizuna, this idea of growing up and moving on while still maintaining a healthy relationship with your childhood nostalgia, and honestly I think it does it much better than the Tri anime, or at least much more cleanly. No digital world reboot, no homeostasis, no dark Genai arc or Digimon Emperor fake out plotline. It's clean, to the point, pulls on the heartstrings, and I love that August 1st, 1999 is at the heart of this story. It's an iconic date for the characters in Digimon, but also for the fans. It's the year we were introduced to this franchise and these characters, and so it means something to not just the characters in the play, but to the audience as well. And perhaps most shockingly, it wasn't just fans of Digimon who enjoyed the live action show. There's at least one review that Kenichi Tani proudly references on his blog post, reflecting on the production. A respected theater reviewer wrote about Super Evolution Stage, quote, "The puppets, the videos with clips of the original anime, the original voice actors' performances, and the lighting and sounds create a powerful effect. It's a story about the worries of the modern person who isolates themselves from their own dreams, one that should be relatable to all and parallels the children's own growth to the Digimon's evolution." I cried, I was surprised. I can't guarantee it's always going to be on YouTube, but as of the time of this video being published, you can find the entire play streaming online. I'm not going to link to it because Toei can be weird about copyright stuff, but if you type Super Evolution Stage Digimon Adventure Tri August 1st into Google or YouTube, you should be able to easily find it. There are also DVDs that exist. It's probably very rare and you're going to have to find it secondhand, but if you're a mega collector, maybe this is for you. Super Evolution Stage Digimon Adventure Tri August 1st Adventure was certainly an odd entry in the Digimon Adventure story, but something that against all odds seemingly came together quite well and won over the hearts of longtime Digimon fans and theater critics alike. Such a weird sentence, I can't believe I'm saying that. If you've seen the play on DVD, of course let everyone know in the comments what you thought of it. If you somehow saw one of the 10 live performances, certainly let me know, and for everyone else, feel free to comment your thoughts on the puppets, on the story, how it compared to Tri's anime, and what other anime you think should be turned into Japan only, 10 show only stage plays. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.